In a world in search of streaming guidance, two mild-mannered wannabe film critics bring you their reviews on the latest streaming releases. Nerds by Art and Heart. This is Real Streamers with Eric and Ryan.
From Los Angeles, California, welcome to the show, movie fans. I'm Eric.
And I'm Ryan.
Ryan, hello.
Hello, Eric.
So today we have a movie to review. We have topics of discussion to go over. We're going to rate the movie based on our Reels rating system. And after all is said and done, we've got some movie news to get to. Sound good, Ryan?
Sounds awesome. Can't wait to get into it.
All right, cool. Let's get going. Currently sitting at 81% on Rotten Tomatoes. Starring Rosamund Pike, Peter Dinklage, Isa Gonzalez, Diane West, Chris Messina, Isaiah Whitlock Jr., directed by Jay Blakeson. This is I Care a Lot.
My name is Marla Grayson. I'm just someone who cares.
Marla Grayson, you've had amazing success. What's your secret?
There is no secret, Peter.
She forces them into the home, auctions off their house, and uses the proceeds to pay herself.
Because caring is my job. I will grab your dick and balls, and I will rip them clean off.
Big deal maker.
I know what you do here. Your hustle.
Look at all these cash cows on your wall just leaking money into your account.
But Jennifer Peterson, she's off limits.
She has very powerful friends who can make life uncomfortable for you.
How uncomfortable are we talking?
All right, IMDb summary time. This one's good. This one makes sense.
All
Here we go.
right.
A crooked legal guardian who drains the savings of her elderly wards meets her match when a woman she tries to swindle turns out to be more than she first appears.
Nice. Okay.
Did you hear any buzz about this going into it or no?
No, I had no idea about it till you mentioned it. And then I happened to see that it was trending #1 everywhere. So it had a good steam going. So I figured why not?
Yeah. And then so I had you watch the trailer, and what'd you think? What were your first initial reactions to the trailer?
I thought it was going to be like a dark comedy mystery type thing, or something with zany characters. Like I was thinking like Ocean's 11 and Knives Out type of thing.
Yeah, like burn after reading.
Exactly. Something like that.
Yeah. And what'd you think after the movie was done? What did it meet your expectations?
No, it wasn't that at all. But it actually surpassed them like greatly. I was pleasantly surprised from where the movie decided to change and take a whole nother aspect I wasn't expecting. It went a lot more serious and not crazy. There was some over the top, but it made sense for what the characters were and what the movie was. So I thought
it wasn't as quirky as you. It wasn't as quirky as you thought it was going to be.
Exactly. Almost none of the quirk was there that I expected to be there. Even from one. Well, maybe a couple times.
Yeah, there's a little quirk, but it was great. Yeah, I agree with you. The trailer was awesome. I thought it was like super unique. It was a very unique plot. Like, it's very interesting. Something I've never seen before or even imagined. This sort of being sort of a good scenario for a movie.
Right. Yeah, just the total like the topic and everything. Just crazy.
Yeah. It's basically like assholes versus assholes.
Right.
And it was I was like wondering like how is this gonna play out, like it definitely made me want to watch it for sure. And so after it was like a great ride, like you said. It was a dark comedy. I personally was rooting for the crime boss. I think were you rooting for the crime boss for Roman over over Marla, right?
Yeah, and it's funny because at the same time, like I caught myself a couple times, like I don't know who to hate right now.
Yeah,
both like hateful, but it's just, and I think that's what makes it a good movie, to where like you can make yourself feel conflicted, to where you have to actually think about who really deserves it, and yeah, I just love the way everybody had playing their character in this.
Yeah, my sympathies definitely lean towards Jennifer Peterson, the the lady that gets kidnapped and put in the home and stuff.
Definitely, yeah.
Yeah, and it's just so interesting how they set up the characters that way and set up the storyline to make they guide you. They tell you who to be rooting for and stuff like that. I
Right.
think they did a really
They
good job.
definitely play to your feelings. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I agree.
Yeah, and it was funny too. There's a lot of funny parts. It was funny and
Mhm.
suspenseful. And yeah, there is like we were saying, there's no technically there's no real good guy, but I mean they sort of pull you in one direction for
Right.
for who to root for.
You want some sort of outcome in a certain
Exactly.
way.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But yeah, overall, yeah, great film.
Best character.
All right, here we go. First topic, best character. There's a lot going on. A lot of characters.
Yeah, there were a lot of characters.
Who did you think was the best character throughout?
For me, it actually he stole the show was Dean Erickson, the attorney.
Yeah,
I just loved like every time he was in there, he was
Yeah.
sleazy, he was tough, he was he just was the actual attorney that you expect, but he even
Yeah.
took it to another level by convincing you he was that guy. And
Yeah.
yeah, it just made me such a big Chris Messina fan to where this guy has really done everything. He's done creepy,
Yeah.
he's done he's been the romance guy, and now to be the slimy lawyer, it just shows like his depth, and I just love it. It just made me a bigger fan of him, like watching him in this film.
Yeah.
How about you?
Oh
Who do you
yeah.
think
Yeah.
was
He was
the
definitely good.
best character?
For me, it had to be Marla Grayson. It was
Yeah.
Rosman for sure. She was so masterful, man. She was so freaking scary in this.
Right?
She was both. She was a diabolical genius. I
Yeah.
mean, you hate her but you're scared of her, and
Exactly.
and really, there's nothing worse than her being like legally evil, like
Right.
being
You can just see the
technically
emotion.
legit, and her knowing
Yeah.
that like the law's on her side, but yet she could be as nasty as she wants to be because she knows how to play the
Right.
system, which is scary as hell. I mean, because knowing how the world works, I mean, there are people out there like that, and those people are
This is totally
ruthless.
plausible. Like,
Yes.
yeah.
Yes, and I think it's
Oh,
no
for
wonder.
sure.
Yeah, and I think it's no wonder that she got nominated for a Golden Globe for this performance. Definitely deserved.
Totally deserved. Easily deserved. I think there should be more nominees out of this, to be honest with you, because this
I
cast is
know.
just phenomenal. I think
Yeah,
there wasn't
everybody was great.
for me, there wasn't a weak actor in this movie.
Worst character.
Okay, let's move on and then continue on with who you thought was the worst character.
For me, the worst character, not that it was the bad actor or portrayed badly. I just
Okay.
thought Judge Lomax was the worst character. He was just so lazy, but it's like typical Judge, like, come on.
Yeah.
Like, put a
Yeah.
little more work or a little more thought into it, or at least look into it, But other than that, I think it's really hard to give someone else a worst character, or to find a bad. There's people that you don't like and you don't hate that get annoying.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I think everyone is just so great in their roles here in this movie.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I didn't have, just like you, I didn't feel anybody did a really bad job.
Mhm.
I think there was no wasted character. I mean, even though like
Right?
you disliked somebody, you disliked them for a reason.
Yeah,
It was
yeah.
it was all done intentional and all to like drive the movies and drive the story. So yeah,
I
no
think
one.
you could
Yeah,
easily see in that movie each character could have their own little side movie or a quick little like episode about them, and it would be intriguing. Like
yeah,
I think just about everybody like in there that's featured in there, which is I think goes to show like it's great writing, great directing. Everybody's in their perfect place. I just can't say enough good things about it.
The scene.
All right, this one's gonna be a fun one.
Yeah.
So the scene. Which scene did you feel made the movie, Ryan?
For me, I think it's when Mrs. Peters is in custody and she starts to laugh and she realizes and she tells her that she's made a terrible mistake
Oh
and
yeah,
she's gonna regret. I think that's when it's like the kickoff, like, all right, here we go, and she doesn't let down. It's just the whole world that she knows she's about to get into with the doctor dying. All of a sudden, like, it's serious business now.
yeah,
And
yeah.
and I think that's where it's like, okay, and especially
That's where
when,
it pops off.
yeah, and with her teasing the whole time about, oh, she's been threatened before and she's not scared of threats, and now
Yeah,
it's like, yeah, now the fun's about to get on.
yeah. I think I had a similar scenario, but with two different characters, which
Oh,
is
okay.
interesting. So my scene was when Dean the lawyer and Marla have that powwow in her office where he
That
offers
was
her the
yeah,
money.
that was a good one.
It's yeah, it's the same sort of deal. It's the fork in the road kind of. Which way are we going? Do you want us just to face off and end this here, or do you want to fight and see what you get into? Because
Right.
it doesn't sound like it's going to be pretty. But man,
Yeah.
she holds her own. They go. It's a nice back and forth there. And usually what you would think sometimes in the scene with those sort of like powerful people, especially a lawyer, you'd get a lot of like cliche lines. And you didn't really get any
Right.
like
Right. The
cliche
same old
stuff.
stuff.
Exactly. Yeah, great lines
No,
back and
no.
forth, and I'd be scared like if I was on either side of that table, man. And
Exactly. Exactly. You don't
yeah,
want to be going against it either.
yeah, and it's awesome how neither of them really backed down, and it was just game on after that. So that was my scene.
Yeah. I think the whole movie, what I like about it is that it's like a poker game or a chess
Mhm.
matchup the whole game. And then finally the gloves come off towards the end and we do get a payoff for once, and get to
Yeah.
see everything that goes down. And yeah, it's just really great.
Worst scene.
All right, next up, Ryan, the worst scene. Okay, I'll start this one. There wasn't a lot of worst scenes, but if I had to choose one, I think it'd be the car going into the water scene where they're trying to
Uh-huh.
kill Marla.
Yeah.
It was like I understood that she had to survive, but I thought it was
All right.
a bit of a stretch. It's like, come on. It's like who
Awkward.
survive? Yeah, who survives that shit? It's like
Yeah.
it was pretty, it was pretty over the top, but I mean, I understood, why they had to,
She's a
keep her alive,
she's a
and
rower.
yeah, yeah, she's tenacious. Well, I was sort of like rooting for her to die. I was like, die, but she
Me
didn't
too.
die. Yeah, but
Like, good,
yeah,
that's what you get.
yeah, exactly. And
Yeah.
then, but once she got out, she was breaking that glass with her feet. I was like, yeah, of course. All right, here we go. Here we
Yeah.
go.
And
What's
I was like, all
next?
right, fine. I guess it's
Yeah,
not gonna end.
yeah. Like, she's gonna get it worse later, right? She'll get it down the road. She'll
Right?
get
Like,
hurt.
she better. They better
Yeah,
there's something.
yeah, yeah. So that's
At least
that
she
was
could
my
cut her foot.
yeah, yeah. But I mean, it was the scenes after that where she goes into the drugstore, to the what is it, the gas
Yeah.
station, like market, and that was pretty awesome. So yeah,
Right. No, it doesn't. And it's,
it all
yeah,
led somewhere, which is good.
exactly. I like that scene, like you said, even as bad as it was, it's not like they started giving you crap after that to where they're just extending it because it's bullshit.
Right.
It's actually a good story that keeps going and shows her motivation. And
Yes,
like,
exactly.
to me, they do kind of hint at it with her being an athlete and always being like, working
Right.
out. So it is plausible,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah. There you go. Yeah.
But like, for me, I would say, like, there wasn't a bad scene. There were scenes to where the characters made you feel a little cringy towards them, but
Okay.
in a way that's just them portraying their character. And it
Right.
made you either hate them more or just like, the whole situation.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think every scene just pulled it off brilliantly like that. Like it just made you either root more for that person or hate that person more, which is a great movie makes you do. It's not wasting your time with the scenes, basically.
The message.
Ryan, what did you think the message of this movie was?
Greed and shadiness catches up with you eventually. Like karma is a bitch. But it's funny though, but even though I think part of the message does show how these ruthless people will go to all ends to just get ahead. And there are people like that. That doesn't mean that's right, because they still have, people to answer to and things to pay for, at the end.
Yeah.
As bad as it, as great as the illusion is to have all that power and all that, money and everything, there is a lot of double crossing that goes on to get there. And I think the movie shows that, and they pay for it at the end.
Yeah, exactly. Like, although it's fictional, I'm sure it is based on some reality, which is scary. It's the most scary part, of the realization that this stuff does happen to elderly people, and there are basically like businesses that do this, and that's really scary. And that's the message sort of that I got from it, a scary one.
Like, yeah, you do gotta actually, who knows, you do gotta actually still care about your parents, right? And look out for them. Crazy concept.
Yeah.
The music.
I didn't pay too much attention, honestly. Whatever was there, like, did its job. It set the mood fine, and that's all really I got from it. Nothing really particularly stood out. I mean, it wasn't bad, but nothing stood out.
Yeah, like I noticed it was basically like EDM music that got you pumped for the scene. And like you said, like I think it got you ready. It didn't really take it away, which is good. Like to me, I think that's what the music is supposed to do in a movie. It's nothing to where I'm going to try and look up any artists or anything, but I think it set up the movie great, and I wouldn't mind hearing it on the side, but it's anything I'm going to purposely seek.
The looks.
Now, the looks, the art direction, the colors, the scenes, the sets. Ryan, what'd you think? How'd everything look to you?
I think it looked great. You can see colors, and there's actually direction in this movie. Like people, you get the message of the story being told the whole time. This can happen in any town, big town, small town. That's what I think is really like awesome about it. And it just goes to show how well that the direction is done here, and the characters that play their part. You just get so sucked in by what's going on that anything can totally be believable with this.
Yeah, I loved a lot of this. I think the clothes played a big role.
True.
Here with Marla, and especially with your favorite Dean the lawyer. How classy he looked, but
that white suit.
Yeah, they just looked like professional, like rich scummy douchebags, with like high-end clothing and stuff like that. They played the part completely.
Totally bougie, over the top, like overlooked top,
high fashion, totally
in your face,
down to their haircuts and everything. And also the settings were great. All the office buildings, Roman's Peter Dinklage's office was awesome.
That was a gorgeous view.
His mom, Jennifer Peterson's house was freaking amazing. It was like freaking
all the glassware in there and everything. Just the way it just looked so nice.
Yeah, and it hurt a little bit when they were like gutting it and then painting over the beautiful blue wall and stuff. I was like, oh my god, how terrible. Yeah, it's awesome how they make you feel that way just with the settings and the scenery and stuff like that.
Right. Just make it seem so cold about it too. Yeah, you just feel it right away.
Yeah, awesome.
The ending.
I thought the ending was damn spot on perfect. For me, it's like in two parts. Like the first part was the partnership with Roman, Peter Dinklage, and Marla. You know, after he wakes
Right.
up from his coma,
Yeah.
and he wheels her out to to the window and basically asks for her $10 million, and he finally agrees with the caveat of, instead of the money, they should partner up. And I thought that was just like perfect. That's like the perfect
Yeah.
sort of ending or truce for these two asshole
Chef's kiss right
individuals. Yes,
there.
mwah, chef's kiss, perfect. Yeah, yeah, and for her, just for them just to like partner up and become this crazy conglomerate,
Mega millionaire.
mega
Yeah.
freaking billionaires is just completely makes sense, perfect sense. And then the second part of
And
the
he still stays quiet. It
yes, yes,
totally works. Like it just he's how to
everyone basically
I
gets what
agree.
they
That
want.
part right.
And then the
There's no
final, yeah, the second part of what I consider the ending, or the actual ending, when the son of the from the opening scene,
the guy in the beginning.
yes,
Right.
yes, the son comes out of basic sort of out of nowhere and just like gets his revenge on her and shoots her, and it was sort of like
Yeah.
poetic. It was like poetic justice, man. It was
It
I
totally
thought
was.
it was pretty damn satisfying. I mean,
I agree.
this is fiction. This is not real life. So, but in this
No,
story,
no, of course not.
the way they set it up, and they pull him back from the beginning and have him
But
finish
even
the
then,
job.
it's not like she's a good person.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But you'd want to see people like that, sort like go to jail or whatever and rot, and not just like
Well,
take.
of course, for me, jail is always best because that's the long torture game. Other
Yeah,
than that,
yeah. But I thought this was a great final scene, a great goodbye for her.
yeah,
Yeah, the pretty much the hillbilly nobody, you know.
comes back and gets his.
Yeah, gets his. Yeah, awesome. I loved it. What about you, Ryan? What you think about the ending?
Yeah, for me, it was totally just like you said. It makes sense that the two team up at the end, that they both get what they want out of it. They just shows how both sleazy and greedy they are in real
Mm-hmm.
life over it, and it's just so disgusting to where like the ultimate end where he does get his revenge. You just feel nothing but good about it because it's someone that's so greedy and disgusting and dirty and has done the whole thing to his family to like even the way he says like what he put him through and he's not the only one, so it's just
Yeah.
so great. Like I think it just tied everything together. It leaves nothing unanswered. Everything gets put in its place. There's nothing that you wonder about. I just thought it was done greatly. Like, and those movies don't really happen that often anymore. Everybody wants a sequel, or they do something stupid and blow it at the end, and I thought this was just awesome.
Would you watch it again?
Okay, Ryan. Would you watch this movie again?
Yes.
Yeah.
Definitely could watch this over and over a couple times.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the characters make you cringy, but it's just the acting from everybody. It's
Mhm.
really just, I think everyone does such a great job that you can find something new out of every showing that you get to see it out of everything.
Yeah. Yeah, I was thinking about that too. Yeah, for sure I'd watch it again, and I'd wonder what you take from it the second time around. The first
Right.
time around, it's so like this is like we're talking about. This is a really new scenario
Concept.
or plot point
Yeah.
concept. Yeah, and it'd be interesting to look at it again and just see what you take away from it. So, but yeah, definitely for sure, watch it again.
The verdict.
All right, it's rating time. So we rate our movies on our reels rating system. It's 1 to 6 reels. 1 reel is garbage. 2 reels is not good. 3 reels is it's okay. 4 reels is quote unquote 4 reels and it's worth your time. 5 reels is great. 6 reels is a perfect movie. Ryan, what did you rate this movie?
It was hard for me to rate this movie because I always say like it's hard to do a great movie, let alone to do a perfect movie. But I'm gonna have to say this is the first perfect movie that I'm gonna have to give. Definitely, it's a must watch. Watch it again. You're not gonna regret it, and nothing. You don't feel the time at all. It just flies through. I love the whole movie.
Very good. Yes, I'm gonna give this a 5.5. Not a perfect movie, I don't think. My reasoning is because it's personal, because I'd rather have a feel-good movie, something that makes you feel warm and fuzzies at the end. This was an awesome. This was an awesome movie. This was so unique. It deserves, all the praise that it's getting. It's definitely a great movie, but for me to be a perfect movie, it has to make you feel good at the end. And this makes you think. I still don't feel good because I know there's people out there taking advantage of elderly people right now as we speak. So it's not perfect.
That's a fair point. Yes.
To me, it's not perfect, but it's freaking an amazing movie. Well done. All right, time to get into some industry news stories. Here we go. All right, I saw this on Twitter and I thought it was interesting to bring up. So did you know, if Back to the Future was made today, Marty McFly would be traveling back to 1991? How crazy is that?
Yeah. I mean, I'm with him. I wouldn't mind going back to 1991 either, but it's crazy that it's that long ago.
Yeah, isn't it? What's interesting to me is the leap. Like back then, it's 1985 to 1955, right?
Right.
Those 2 years are 2 different worlds. Completely different.
Totally.
Night and day. Right. Like if you go today back to 1991, it's different, but it's not that big a leap as technology for sure. Clothes are a little different, but I don't think it'd be that huge of a difference. Mm-hmm. Like if you bring someone from 1991 today, they probably adapt a lot easier than if you brought someone from 1955 to 1985. Agree?
True. Yeah, because of the big bust. Yeah, it just like all of a sudden there was a big difference with like electricity and communication and
cars.
Yeah, everything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So if you made that movie today, I don't think it would be as interesting because the difference in the 2 years isn't as big.
Oh, right, definitely. Yeah, if the movie were made today, I don't think there's a big enough difference to where it's an interesting plot. Looking at it at that point.
Like we saw in Captain Marvel, that was like back in the 90s, and it was like, oh yeah, hey, I remember Blockbuster, or hey, yeah, I remember that No Doubt song, but it's not that different of a world as the Back to the Future movies.
Exactly. Things aren't as society. I mean, they've gotten better, of course, but there's no big shock change that has been there between now and then.
Yeah. All right, next story. Oh, we got movie trailers.
Ooh.
We got 2 pretty big trailers that dropped this week. First, let's talk about Mortal Kombat. Ryan, did you have a look at that?
I did. It looks freaking crazy.
It looks nuts, right?
Yeah. But I'm looking forward to it. I mean, I'll always give it a shot,
Yeah.
I can't wait. It's going to be another fun movie. Hopefully we can jump right into it.
Lots of freaking bloodshed, lots of action.
Yeah.
I just hope the story holds up. I mean,
exactly. Like, it would be cool if it's like a story like Bloodsport, like back in the day, something like that. Mm-hmm. Some sort of tournament, kind of make a story, They tried it before, but who knows now what they can do. Hopefully it is something decent, though, that we can appreciate.
Yeah, agreed. Hopefully it's not just like a cash grab and them trying to make a little money off the franchise.
The nostalgia.
Yeah, we'll see. We shall see. All right. Next up, Disney came out with a new trailer here for Cruella. I guess the Cruella de Vil origin story, starring Emma Stone. What'd you think of the trailer, Ryan?
I am all in on the trailer. I think everything looks fun. The story looks awesome, and yeah, it looks like it's gonna be a good movie.
Yeah, it looks cool. It's totally Disney stylized. Emma Stone looks great. Yeah, everything looks good. It looks like similar to, I guess, what they did with Maleficent.
Right.
To show her origin story. I guess they're doing that now with Cruella de Vil, and hopefully it's good, and hopefully we'll enjoy it.
Yeah, bring on the baddies.
Bring on the baddies, yeah. All right, next story. Edgar Wright. Great director, Edgar Wright. You like Edgar Wright, don't you?
Yep. Great man.
Great man. So, he's going to be directing a remake of The Running Man. This was... I didn't know this, but this was a Stephen King novel that he released under a different name. Did you know that?
No, I did not know that either. Oh, wow.
Yeah. So he released it as a different name, and they ended up making a Arnold Schwarzenegger movie out of it. And now Edgar Wright is gonna take the original novel and remake it, and hopefully he does a better job, because that movie was nuts. Do you remember that movie?
Yeah, that movie was crazy. It was mainly just an Arnold flick to just watch a flick.
It was nuts. It was nuts, but it was a good nuts, because it was like it felt like a very cult classic kind of a.
Exactly. It was just cheesy 80s, like just fun movie, like a classic. Just sit there and watch the time, go through with some nonsense.
Yeah, lots of nonsense for sure. All right, next story. So Tim Burton is developing Addams Family spinoff, starring Wednesday Addams as the main character.
That's cool.
Okay, so this is sort of Tim Burton's TV directing debut. He hasn't done any TV series before, which is interesting.
Oh, that is.
Yeah, and it's going to premiere on Netflix.
Okay.
I don't think we have the date yet, but it's going to be based on Wednesday. To me, it sounds like Sabrina-ish. Sabrina the Teenage Witch on Netflix.
Right.
It's about her going to school, and I guess... yeah, so it looks like she's going to be trying to master a psychic ability that she has to thwart monstrous killing sprees that has terrorized the local town, which is interesting. So it definitely sounds like
they're going dark.
Yeah, Sabrina. It's very Sabrina Teenage Witchy, which would be great, because that was a great series, I think, that they ruined, and hopefully this could be a good sort of replacement for that.
Well, any way they can retell an old story, in a different form, in a better way, or a different, more interesting way, I'm all for. So I'm all in on this show. Like, why not?
Next up, Marvel confirms there will be a making of series on Disney Plus regarding WandaVision. So after WandaVision's over, we're gonna get some new episodes of how they actually put together the show.
Oh, that's cool. Some like behind the scenes actions and things like that.
Yeah, behind the scenes stuff, very similar to what they did to Mandalorian.
Cool.
Did you see the Mandalorian stuff?
Yep. Totally.
Yeah, it took me a while to get to watch the Mandalorian stuff, because I wasn't very interested. I just thought it was going to ruin the magic. You know what I mean?
How dare you?
But but when I saw the first episode, I breezed right through them, man.
Yeah, I gotta have faith in Favreau.
So hopefully this is going to be equally as entertaining, because the Mandalorian stuff was great.
Yeah, I think so too. And there's a lot of probably hidden gems that they can play around with it too. And there's enough followings, and I think each show is interesting enough to give a behind the scenes reason, and things that little fun facts about that episode.
The most compelling thing for me about the Mandalorian was the what did they call it? The volume. That room just full of screens.
Yeah. That
basically makes any setting.
Oh, right.
It made like the desert setting, and then they just put them on in front of the screens on like some movable things, and makes it like it looks like they're walking through the desert there.
Yeah.
And so I'm interested to see how they pull off some of those awesome effects on WandaVision. So that'll definitely be a cool thing to take a look at.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it'll be starting right after WandaVision's over, I think. So it says March 12th here.
Awesome. Keep us going.
Yeah, man, should be cool. That Disney Plus, man, they're figuring it out. At first, there wasn't much until Mandalorian came out, and I think they sort of found the secret sauce with Mandalorian.
Exactly.
Now with WandaVision, and yeah, they're just, I think from here on out, they're just gonna be cranking stuff.
Seems like they're getting their ducks in a row. Like, you know, everything is starting to line up nicely for them.
Yeah. All right, one more story. So this was a rumor, so take this with a grain of salt, but they're saying that Jennifer Lawrence might be cast in Fantastic Four as Sue Storm.
Interesting.
Yeah, from Mystique in X-Men, the Sony X-Men, to Sue Storm, Invisible Woman, in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. What do you think, man? What do you think of if this is true and they reuse her?
She's clearly into morphing. I don't know if it's the same thing, but it's I guess I would rather have someone new or a little different for the role. Personally, I think it'd be a lazy way out. I don't know if it's the greatest decision. I think, you know, Jennifer is past that now. She doesn't really need to do anything with like being a superhero of some sort. I think they can just give that to someone else that needs a little bit more attention or coming up.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, it would have been if it's true, it'd be better to have somebody, like you said, a fresh face or somebody new for that role. The other thing is that there's speculation after WandaVision, or at the end of WandaVision, that there'll be an introduction to the Fantastic Four, introducing them to the Marvel Cinematic Universe. That's the rumor. I don't know how it's gonna work out. I don't know if it's true, but I guess we'll wait and see.
Yeah, I did read similar rumors about that. Hopefully it is true. I mean, it doesn't matter. I think Disney knows what they're doing right now, and I think either way, how they do introduce them, we're going to be more than happy and not be let down. I think the story is good enough, and you know, everyone's just excited to bring on this new group of characters that haven't had a good share of a story in a while.
Yes. Yeah, they need it, man. They need this. They need to score on Fantastic Four, because it's been just flop after flop. So hopefully, Marvel, Disney.
Exactly. I think if anyone can, it's them. You know, that team will definitely strike gold with that.
Yeah, because Sony has had them for long enough, and we know.
Yeah, Sony was very hit and miss. I mean, the only thing they really had right at Sony was Spider-Man when they had that. You know, other than that, anything else they had.
Says you. I didn't like any Spider-Man that Sony
first
brought
one?
The Tobey Maguire. No, I did not like that one. I didn't like Spider-Man until Tom Holland came out.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
So, and it sort of upsetted me, or I got upset at the end of the Spider-Man Homecoming, where you start to see characters from Sony Spider-Man come out, and rumors of Sony Spider-Man, more Sony Spider-Man characters possibly coming out and making an appearance. I didn't know. That's upsetting. Move on, man.
The Spider-Verse.
The
Spider-Verse.
No, Sony should have nothing to do with Marvel anymore. It's like them. It's like them redoing Justice League, man. Come on, it sucked.
It's not so much for Sony.
Leave it buried. Leave it buried, man.
Let the fans get to see their favorite Spider-Man.
I just didn't like that Spider-Man. It was so freaking over the top, man. This Tom Holland Spider-Man is so much freaking better. He's more of a grounded Spider-Man, I think, and more of a relatable Spider-Man than Tobey ever was. or that whole.
Yeah,
or
I
that
think
whole-
that's
or that
also in
whole-
the direction.
Yeah,
Yeah,
'cause you didn't have.
I think a
you didn't
lot
have-
of that falls on the hands.
Yeah,
know?
you did. Yeah, you didn't have Marvel sort of like giving.
Right. Marvel is able to guide them a little better, give them more direction. They're not, I think part of it also is maybe Sony's trying to do their own thing so much that they overplayed it a little bit. And with Marvel not really having to outplay anybody, they can just play it the real way and the good story version.
Yeah, all that Sony stuff is just too gimmicky for me. So
Yeah, you need some attention. They had nothing back then, poor souls.
yeah, that's why I'm scared of the next Spider-Man.
Nah,
I love Spider-Man, man.
clearly.
You got to do him right.
Right?
Not at all.
Justice for Spider-Man.
All right, man. Ryan, that's the show. We did it.
All
Another
right.
one in the books, in the can. We're done.
Boom, boom, pow, pow.
Oh, Ryan, I hope you had a good time. I had a good time. This was a good show.
Yep, another great time as always. And we actually got to watch a movie that we both really enjoyed, which was awesome.
Yes.
Every minute of it. I can't wait
Yes.
to go watch it again.
Yeah. Hopefully, let's the next one will be good, and we'll have a good back and forth again. Or it'll be bad, and we'll poop all over it.
Exactly. Either way, it'll be fun.
Either way. All right, man. Thank you so much. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. We'll see you next time.
Alrighty.
This has been another episode of Real Streamers with Eric and Ryan.